Hey there, welcome back to the deep dive. Ever get that feeling, looking up at the night sky, that it's not just an empty expanse, but something more?
It's a powerful concept,
Yeah.
and you're not alone in feeling that something more. We're going to explore why this idea has resonated throughout history and how modern science is actually lending weight to it.
Our guy today is Duane Elgin's We Live in a Living Universe, a book that's got me wondering if my astronomy class missed a few chapters. We're going to unpack Elgin's idea of humanity's fourth awakening. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Is this just another New Age fad?
It's a fair question, but Elgin actually grounds this awakening in historical context.
Okay.
He argues that humans have already gone through three major shifts in understanding our place in the universe.
Okay, so like software updates for the human operating system. Give me the rundown.
Exactly. Think about it.
Hmm.
First, roughly 35,000 years ago, we developed reflective consciousness, the ability to look inward and become aware of our own awareness.
Right.
This set us apart in the animal kingdom, right?
Okay, I'm following so far. From self-awareness to what happened next.
Then around 10,000 years ago, boom, the agricultural revolution. We went from nomadic hunter-gatherers to settling down and cultivating the land.
Wow.
This totally reshaped human societies.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about the food. It was about how we interacted, how we organize ourselves.
Right, talk about a paradigm shift. So what's the third awakening?
About 300 years ago, the scientific and industrial revolutions kicked off.
Okay.
We unlocked the secrets of physics, harnessed new forms of energy, and created the technologically driven world we live in today.
Wow.
Each awakening revolutionized how humans lived, thought about ourselves, interacted with each other, even what we believed.
And Elgin says we're on the verge of a fourth. So is this new awakening a purely scientific thing, or is there a spiritual component to it too?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Elgin doesn't see a separation.
Okay.
He points to scientific discoveries that are making the universe seem less like a cold mechanical clock and more like a living organism.
Okay, color me intrigued. You've got to give me an example of that.
Sure.
How is science blurring the lines like that?
We'll take black holes, for example.
Okay.
For a long time, there were these mysterious objects that we barely understood.
Right.
Now, astrophysicists like John Gribben are suggesting that black holes might be the birthplaces of new universes.
Whoa.
Imagine that, a universe being born inside of another universe.
Hold on, so we're talking multiple universes, like a whole bunch of universes just hanging out.
Exactly. The idea is that our universe might not be unique.
Wow.
There might be countless others out there, each with its own set of physical laws and possibilities.
Okay.
It completely blows apart our concept of reality as we know it.
Okay, you're right. That is mind-blowing. It also makes me feel incredibly small, like less than a speck of dust.
Sure.
But if there are all these universes, where did they come from? Is there some kind of, I don't know, a megaverse out there?
That's the question that has captivated philosophers and mystics for centuries. Elgin suggests the term Mother Universe to describe this ultimate source of creation.
Okay, so not a megaverse, but a mother universe. I kind of like that it's got a certain ring to it.
Yeah.
What exactly does he mean by that term? Is it a real thing or more of a concept?
It's both.
Okay.
It's a concept that helps us grasp the idea of a boundless creative energy that exists beyond our limited human comprehension,
Yeah.
but also points to something very real that we can sense and experience.
Okay.
It's like trying to explain the internet to someone who lived 200 years ago. We don't quite have the framework yet, but we can see the effects.
Okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around this mother universe. Is there anything more we can glean about it from Elgin? Like, what are its characteristics? Can we even define something so vast?
It's definitely a challenge for our limited human minds, but Elgin points to a few key attributes that are remarkably consistent across various wisdom traditions, which I find fascinating.
Okay, lay it on me.
Well, firstly, he describes it as omnipresent. We're not talking about some distant entity. Imagine a clear, unbounded life energy that infuses everything from the smallest atom to the vast expanse of space itself.
So not just out there, but also in here.
Exactly. And because of this all-pervading presence, Elgin says the mother universe is also non-obstructing.
Non-obstructing. Does that mean it just lets everything happen? No judgment, no intervention?
Precisely. It allows all things to exist and unfold according to their nature. Think of it like a cosmic ocean that supports the waves, but isn't diminished by them.
Okay, I can visualize that. The ocean just keeps flowing, letting the waves do their thing. So if this mother universe isn't judging or intervening, does that mean it's impartial to what happens within it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It doesn't play favorites or pick winners. This brings us to another key point. The mother universe is ultimately ungraspable.
Ungraspable. So we can talk about it, try to describe it, but we can never truly wrap our minds around it.
Exactly. Our human experience is just too limited. However, this doesn't mean we can't experience it. In fact, Elgin suggests that experiencing the subtle resonance of the Mother Universe, that interconnectedness, is to experience unconditional love and boundless compassion. It's the source of our very being and our deepest aspirations.
That's a powerful thought. And it makes me think about the whole idea of consciousness not just being confined to our brains, but potentially a fundamental property of the universe itself. If consciousness really is everywhere, then maybe this feeling of love, of interconnectedness, is how we tap into that cosmic web.
That's a profound insight, and one that many mystics and spiritual teachers have emphasized for centuries. It reminds me of a quote from the Sufi poet Rumi: "Everything in the universe is within you. Ask all from yourself."
Wow, there's so much to unpack in those few words. It's almost as if experiencing this living universe is about looking inward as much as it is about understanding the cosmos.
And that inward exploration, that connection to something larger than ourselves, leads us to what Elgin considers the most awe-inspiring attribute of the Mother Universe. It's boundless creativity.
Hmm.
I mean, think about it. The sheer diversity and complexity of life on Earth alone is mind-boggling. Then multiply that by the billions of galaxies in the observable universe.
It's enough to make your head spin. It really makes you wonder what other universes, what other forms of life and consciousness might exist within the infinite expanse of the Mother Universe.
Exactly. It really throws into question just how limited our current scientific models might be. We've barely scratched the surface of what's really out there.
Okay, so we've established that the Mother Universe is vast, creative, and frankly a little intimidating.
Yeah.
But how does living with this idea actually change things for us down here on Earth? I mean, does it really affect our day-to-day
It
lives?
changes everything. For one thing, it transforms how we see ourselves. We're no longer isolated individuals on a lonely planet in a vast and different cosmos. Instead, we are integral parts of a living, interconnected web of being.
So instead of feeling like a tiny, insignificant speck, we're part of something much grander and more meaningful.
Precisely. And that realization has profound implications for how we live our lives. If the universe is alive and conscious, then our actions have consequences that ripple out far beyond ourselves.
So every action, no matter how small, can have a ripple effect throughout the cosmos. That's both humbling and a little terrifying.
It is. But it also makes life much more meaningful. We become more aware of our interconnectedness with all things and more responsible for our impact on the planet and on each other. It's a shift from asking, what can I get from the universe, to asking, what can I give? How can I participate in a meaningful way?
I love that. It reminds me of something I read by Luther Standing Bear, a Lakota writer. He said, "We did not think of the great open plains, the beautiful rolling hills, and the winding streams with tangled growth as wild. Only to the white man was nature a wilderness, and only to him was the land infested with wild animals and savage people. To us, it was, tame earth is a mother that never dies." It just speaks to that deep connection to the natural world that many indigenous cultures have.
It's a beautiful sentiment, and it highlights a key difference between a living universe perspective and the more materialistic worldview that has dominated Western thought for the past few centuries.
So are you saying that this shift in perspective could lead us to a more harmonious relationship with the earth and with each other?
I believe so.
Yeah.
In a living universe, there's no separation between the sacred and the secular,
Yeah.
the spiritual and the material. Everything is interconnected. Everything is infused with meaning and purpose. And recognizing that interconnectedness could be the key to tackling some of the biggest challenges we face today.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this idea of a living universe could be a game changer. But let's get practical for a moment. How does this shift in thinking actually translate to our everyday lives? What changes do we make?
Well, for one thing, it challenges our values.
Okay.
In a dead, indifferent universe, material acquisition makes sense.
Hmm.
But in a living universe, our values shift towards interconnectedness, ethical living, and contributing to the well-being of the whole.
So it's less about what can I get and more about what can I give back.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that our well-being is inseparable from the well-being of others and the planet itself.
It's like that old saying, we're all in this together, except now this isn't just our planet, it's the entire cosmos. It's funny, earlier I was feeling pretty insignificant thinking about all those other universes out there. But now I'm starting to feel a sense of responsibility, like my actions actually matter on a cosmic scale.
That's the paradox of this perspective, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's both humbling and empowering at the same time. We're part of something so much bigger than ourselves, yet we also have a role to play in the unfolding of the cosmos.
It's a lot to take in, that's for sure. This whole conversation reminds me of something I read in the book of Mere Dad. So think as if your every thought were to be etched in fire upon the sky for all and everything to see, for so in truth it is. It suggests this incredible level of responsibility for our thoughts, words, and actions that we might not otherwise consider.
It's a powerful image, right? It speaks to the idea that we're not separate from the universe, but intimately woven into its fabric. Every act, no matter how small, has the potential to affect the whole.
This deep dive has really challenged me to rethink my place in the universe. It's
Mhm.
humbling, awe-inspiring, and yeah, a little bit terrifying all at the same time. If we really are living in this interconnected web of life, what does that mean for our responsibilities to each other and to the planet?
It's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's one we each have to answer for ourselves. As Elgin suggests, living in a living universe isn't just about understanding new scientific theories, it's about shifting our entire way of being in the world.
So much to think about. If our universe is just one of many a child of this mother universe, what does that mean for us? Are we just a cosmic experiment, or do we have some greater purpose in the grand scheme of things? That's something I'll be pondering for a while.
And that's the beauty of it all, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sparks our curiosity and invites us to keep exploring.
That's it for our deep dive today. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this mind-blowing concept. What resonates with you about the idea of a living universe? Let us know, and be sure to tune in next time for another fascinating exploration. Until then, keep those brains buzzing.